Om Namah Shivaya, everyone. My name is Marin Vayu, and my mission on this planet is to bring back some lost wisdom of the five elements of nature. And today I'm going to talk about Atlantis, aliens, Matrix, God, and the five elements calendar, which is the something that I've been working on for many years, and finally it's ready. I already presented to many people, and when I start to present this five elements calendar, sometimes the first things that I said is that this is the calendar from Atlantis, and then everybody is surprised or suspicious, whatever. So in this video, for the first time, I want to talk about my experience, not just what I believe, but also what are my experience about those five topics. So I will start with Matrix because this is the most important thing, I think, that include all of it. And everything from my experience. So my experience with Matrix happened about 20 years ago when I've been to India first time, and after a spiritual transformational experience during one meditation, which I'll tell you later, the next day, I think it was the next day, I was just contemplating, focusing on the present moment, and then suddenly I saw with my own eyes the illusion of the world around me. And in that time, I could only use this word illusion because that is the ancient language of mysticism. In Buddhism it's called Maya. They said everything is an illusion. But I heard this before, but that moment I saw it with my eyes. I saw it like in Matrix when Neo saw the true nature of everything, that it is illusion. Something like that I saw. And now that I'm thinking about it, many people are talking today about simulation. I also have no problem to use this word simulation because we are now understanding games, computers, and we are actually kind of, people, not me, when I say we, not me, but people are building games that are really, looks like real. So soon, experts says that soon we're gonna develop games when we're gonna insert chip in our mind, and when this chip can trigger smell and taste, for example, then we will create games that will be undistinguishable from reality. So the question is, do we live in a simulation already? And my answer is definitely yes, because I saw it with my eyes. So what kind of game it is, what kind of illusion it is, what kind of simulation it is, it's hard for me to say, but the whole universe was an illusion. And how deep is this rabbit hole, I don't know, but since then my life changed, and since then I've been digging and discovering this rabbit hole, and it's really amazing. So if you believe in that, if you believe in, and I believe because of my experience, but people believe even without experience, that everything is illusion, that we live in a simulation, then everything is possible. Then if you ask me about Atlantis, extraterrestrials, anything, even the earth can be flat in that, according to the simulation theory, because then maybe each one lives in its own simulation. And this can also change. Also, this is one of my experience, which I will tell you a little bit later. Anyway, this leads us to the next topic, which is the topic of God, because my first experience with God's voice or with spirituality was a few years before that, when I heard the first time voices in my head, and this voice started to talk to me, and I asked so many questions about life, about spirituality, about religions, and this this voice answered to all my questions, but it was a strong voice. It was not my voice. It was not something that I could possibly know. And yeah, this was my waking up experience, let's say like this. This led me to India a few years later, and there I was in one ashram with a guru, and there in one meditation, one of the first meditation I ever did, my consciousness dropped down. I didn't even know that I have a consciousness. It dropped down, and when it reached the bottom, I experienced an explosion of consciousness, if I can describe it like that, in which I become everything. So I heard before that the theory of that we are God, that God is one thing, everything is God, but now I experience it. So this was triggered. This is very interesting because this experience was triggered just a few hours before that. It happened to me when I realized that I don't know nothing. And this was a realization. And then a strange experience that all my programs collapsed. I fell down on my knees, I cried. I was not sure about anything. I realized that everything that I thought I know, it was actually based on my beliefs. The only thing that I was sure about it, it was the existence itself. Everything else, it's an interpretation of beliefs, what I believe. So that leads to the experience that I was everything, and then this next day led to the experience that I saw the illusion. And I also want to say that this voice that talked to me like a little bit, like maybe a few years before I went to India, that one day this voice told me that I will have a mission in my life, but that I was not ready yet. This is the only thing that this voice told me without that I asked a question. Anyway, after this experience in India, I went back home and I asked this voice for the first time, who are you? And so this was after all these spiritual experiences, transformation. So the voice told me, who do you want me to be? Do you want that I am wind? That I am Buddha, that I am your guru, that I am your inner guru, your voice? Do you want that I be your subconscious? Anything. And then I understood everything. It's one, of course. I mean, I had an experience about that. So yeah, many years later, I was traveling around, and then I went to Egypt. And the first time when I saw the Great Pyramid of Egypt, it was on my list. I didn't know nothing about these pyramids and all this story of the ancient civilizations, not even history and official history. So, but somehow I get some sort of initiation there, probably because from that moment I start to download or channelize some very strange things, informations that, like, I start to channelize first about something about the aliens. And now I will tell you for the first time, I never said this before on public. And many of you will recognize this as a very famous theory about aliens, what I'm gonna tell you right now. But what is incredible from my point of view is that I received this from nothing. I never read about it. I never heard about this theory. Nothing about it, not even close. And yet it came to me there in Cairo when I was after the visiting of the Great Pyramid, the same day. So the story goes like this: that many thousands of years ago, maybe hundreds of thousands of years ago, an extraterrestrial civilization came to our planet, and in searching for gold, or they start to collect gold because they need it for some reason, and then they also with modification, with GMO engineering, they create humans as they are today. So maybe a little bit of spin into our evolution. So they teach humans how to dig gold, of course, to help them, but also many other things, how to build monuments with megalithic stones. Maybe they build pyramids, or maybe they teach humans, I don't know, but definitely it's their own product, I would say. And they said, and they also teach people how to mummify bodies. So they said that they need to go now, they need to leave this planet. But to the pharaoh, to the kings, they said, you continue to collect gold and put all the gold that you collect inside the pyramid, and then also you mummify your body, I mean your people mummify your body after you die, and then put inside with gold in the pyramids, and then seal the pyramid that nobody can enter ever for thousands of years, because we will come back, they said, we will come back in thousands of years, and then we will collect the gold, but we will also make you alive again, because we have the body mummified, it's enough. With our technology we can make it that you are alive again. So yeah, this was the story, and I thought, that's an interesting story, but I didn't believe in that. And that day I went to my hotel, I talked to a guy who was there on dinner, and I told him about this, and he told me that there is a book that says exactly the same story, and it goes in much more details. And the guy who wrote that book, he downloaded this story, he channelized this story by reading the Sumerian tablets. And these are the oldest tablets in the world, the oldest script that we have in the world. So he translated in this way that he got this story. Of course, officially scholars translate this as that there were gods came to planet and this, but he translated into extraterrestrials. And all this story about gold, I don't know how he get this, but I read the book after, and really it's a book from Zacharias teaching, and becomes very famous. Actually nowadays I see that many people are following this theory, many people are also getting the same inputs, let's say like this, some people who channelize things like that. So it's a very famous story, but to me it happened like without knowing anything. So maybe to someone this will be interesting. And then from there I flew to India, immediately from Cairo, and then I start, so this happened maybe a week after, I start to receive, and it's a funny story how it happened, but I don't have time to tell you about this, but I start to download the wisdom of the 5 elements of nature. And I didn't know much about it, I knew a little bit, people around me they knew about the elements, but they never talk about it. It's like sometimes when something is very basic, very obvious, nobody's talking about anymore. But I start to receive so many inputs that I wrote a book about it. And immediately I start to research. I wanted to see from where I'm receiving this. Maybe it's in a tradition. But I start to research, and I discovered that the concept of the 5 elements of nature, it's the base of all ancient esoteric and spiritual teachings in the world, or almost all. And for me, it was an eye-opening. How I didn't know this. I was already 10 years into yoga, meditation, shamanism, and I didn't know about it. I knew that there are elements, these 5 elements that are present everywhere, but I didn't know that they are so strong. When you read books, then you start to understand that the first things when you learn about some esoteric teachings, you will learn about the 5 elements. This is the base. But it's much more than that. I discovered that this is not just the ABC, but it's also a PhD of spirituality. Everything, because everything is made of the 5 elements. So of course I wrote a book about it, and I realized immediately that this is the mission that 10 years back the voice in my head told me that I will have a mission. I realized, I immediately knew that that this is something that I need to share. This is yeah, this is my path. So of course I've been researching this topic for 15 years now about the 5 elements. I've been writing books, I've been giving talks and videos and lectures and leading retreats, teaching people. What I teach about that is the wisdom that transformed my life, because when I start to practice, when I start to use it, first of all I discovered that I was in disbalance, and when I start to use it, my life changed really. I start to live my full potential on many levels. Before that I thought, okay, there are some things in my life that are not okay, maybe it's my karma, but after I start to use this concept of the 5 elements, which is the concept of balance, then everything starts to balance in my life, and it's a nice stories I have about that. Of course, this I teach when I teach about actual wisdom of the 5 elements. But in the same time, when I was researching those elements, I was also very much I was attracted by ancient civilizations because of the pyramid and all this. And about solstices and equinoxes, I didn't know why solstices, but I start to be so much attracted. This attraction began in the same time when I start to download all these things. So all happen in the same week or two. And since then I've been like obsessed about those things: ancient civilizations, solstices and equinoxes, and 5 elements. And during this time I was slowly downloading some missing links of the 5 elements, and also slowly I was downloading some puzzles of the calendar, ancient 5 elements calendar, which I believe is the source of our calendar, and the source of astrology even. And in one moment I was asking my voice, why do I receive all this wisdom of the 5 elements? There are so many different traditions that are talking about it. And the voice told me, because yours is original. And then for the first time I start to believe. Of course I didn't believe that mine is original in that moment, but I start to believe that there is one source of that knowledge. So I start to research more deeply, and I start to download lost, missing links that really pointing to the conclusion that there was one source of that knowledge. I made videos and also books about it. You can check in the link in the links below, of course. So this is when I start to really believe that there is a possibility that Atlantis or some advanced civilization existed that possessed this 5 elements knowledge. So while I was researching this is very interesting to mention, because this leads us back to the Matrix experience. I start to research this Atlantis, ancient civilization, but I am a person with really grounding logical mind, let's say like this. I think you know what I mean. And even though I had so many different experiences, spiritual, mystical experiences, I was still very, very, compared to the people around me in this spirituality world, I was very grounded. And, or at least I consider myself like that. So when I start to research this Atlantis topic, it was always appealing, it was always something that I was attracted to, but I never really believed in that. So I start to research, and when I start to research, oh my God, I discovered so many things that I didn't know, I never knew. There are people who are making so many beautiful documentaries, videos, they're writing books about it, about the possibility that Atlantis existed. All those people really believe that. And me, I was just with open mind research the possibility, so I wanted to see what they have to say. But the proof, or let's say I wouldn't say the proof, but they consider proofs, of course, but the arguments that they have and some fact that there are in the world about that. I've been visiting so many places, from pyramids, Stonehenge, pyramids in Mexico. I've been to so many places to see with my own eyes, and really some of the things are incredible and they are really pointing to the possibility that there was a lost advanced civilization who build or help build or teach people how to build whatever. But some things are really, really hard to describe if there wasn't. So I start to believe more and more. And when I start to believe more and more in Atlantis, let's call it like this, then I found those kind of proof. But then, because I had this skeptical mind, let's say like this, and I always ask myself why, so I ask myself why some people do not believe in Atlantis then, why most of the scholars do not believe. I mean, those are people who read our history, and there are some historians and scientists, so I start to follow them as well. I start to read their books. I start to watch the videos that debunking those alternative views. And when I did that, then they convinced me actually that there wasn't an advanced lost civilization. And then I was sure, yeah, actually, you're right, there wasn't. But then some video caught my attention, and then again I start to dig here, and then no, for sure there was, for sure Atlantis existed. And then again I watched some debunk video, and no. And like this, I was for 15 years, little bit I believe, little bit I didn't believe. Or let's say, little bit I believe in Atlantis, little bit I believe in that Atlantis didn't exist. Because both are beliefs in the end. So what this is telling me, one day I realized, but I live anyway in a matrix illusion. So what if I am creating this illusion, and in whatever I believe, I am discovering the evidence for that. And this was the case actually. It's something similar like today mobile phone. If you watch your mobile phone, you will get some news, okay, on your social media, whatever. And those news, you will think that those are world news, that everybody is following them. But you take the mobile phone of your member of the family, of your partner, of your friend, of your colleague, and you will see that you have completely different news. So you live in a completely different world. So the similar thing, it's outside, it's in this reality, in this illusion, yeah? Because if this is an illusion, if this is a simulation, then everything is possible. It is also possible that the past change according to your beliefs. But it's not just beliefs, because you can believe that you can fly and then you jump and then you will die. Right? So you can believe that you can go through the walls, but you try, you will not succeed. So this belief has a limitation, or let's say it doesn't. It takes time maybe for this reality to change. This is my experience of many things that I start to believe differently. The reality start to change. So I don't know how much we can change of this reality. I really don't know if we can pass through walls. I don't know how much this illusion will allow us. How it's designed, this game, I don't know. Because even I designed this game, because I'm everything, I don't know what kind of rules I put into the game. So this is a journey of discovering. This is life, to discover this world, to discover those rules, and to discover which rules you can actually change, and how deep is this rabbit hole, and what you can do as a rabbit. So right now, because after many years, finally, this calendar of the 5 elements, it's finished. I will start to now. I already present to many people, and they all love it. And one of this journey, what I want to do right now is I want to continue to discover whether this calendar is really possible that it's coming from Atlantis, or did I channelize it from the future? So maybe it's not the point where this calendar is coming from, maybe it's coming from my head only, But maybe the question is when this calendar is coming from. Maybe it's not from the past, maybe it's from the future, because to whoever I presented, they said this calendar can easily replace our official Gregorian calendar because it's so simple, so beautiful, so logical, makes much more sense than our Gregorian calendar. And people are looking forward to start to use it. And it can be really a practical calendar, because if you want to use it as a practical calendar to work on yourself, you can do that. So now one thing, of course, I'm gonna talk about this calendar, because this calendar it's like a final product of all what I was channelizing of this wisdom of the 5 elements and the lost missing links and everything. It kind of gives the final result of all that. But also I want to continue my research into Atlantis, into ancient civilizations. I want to go again to all those places and to some new places, especially those places that are marking solstices and equinoxes, because this calendar, 5 elements calendar, it's based on the solstices and equinoxes. That's why I was attracted to this concept of the solstices, of this event, this phenomenon of solstices and equinoxes, because these are the markers of nature that the people create calendars according to those, the solar calendar according to solstices and equinoxes, and still we use the calendar and still we measure time of the 1 year according to solstices and equinoxes. So in ancient times, people discovered the solstices and equinoxes. For me, this was probably the first, I would say, the first scientific discovery. If we can extract one event that science started, I would say it's that one. But the thing is that this happened thousands and thousands of years ago, because we have temples and monuments that are aligned in that, that are following those solstices and equinoxes. So I'm gonna research again, I'm gonna go to those places, I'm gonna make some documentaries, I'm gonna present to my social media, so the links of those documentaries and of those videos are also below, as well as the links of the calendar. If I already publish it, you will find below this video. So I hope you will follow my journey and that we go together to this journey. If you want to stay an open mind, because I will be open mind on this journey. What that means, it means that maybe I will, who knows which kind of people I will meet, and maybe who knows what kind of information I will get. Maybe I will discover that there wasn't Atlantis, and which is fine. I'm completely fine with this. Or maybe I will discover that there is Atlantis. But one thing that I have a feeling is that I will find my truth. I will find, I don't know what is in my matrix, but I think on this journey I will discover it and I will make a conclusion about that. But of course, that will always be just in my matrix. And of course, like in every simulation, the things can change as well. So I'm open to that as well. Anyway, I hope that this video helped you somehow to maybe start to think in a different way, or maybe to give another approach. Because mostly people, when people heard about aliens, Atlantis, God, everybody, or let's say almost everybody, had already a strong opinion about those things. Like there are people who, definitely believe in that. There are people who definitely believe that these things doesn't exist. So I'm always open-minded to both possibilities, because I saw the matrix illusion. That is, I think, and then from that point, from that starting point, everything is possible. So I hope to see you somewhere in the world on those places. We're gonna celebrate solstices and equinoxes on those places. I hope to see you there, and stay connected. If you have any question, you can put below. Of course, all of these things I will talk more about in the future, in podcasts with other people, and in my future videos. And may the spirits of nature be with you.